Today we are making Grandma's mistakes. To start, you're going to want to get out a 9x13 baking dish, and I'm going to line mine with parchment paper. You can just grease your pan. Then go ahead and set your pan aside. In a large mixing bowl, we're going to cream together 1 cup of butter. The recipe calls for oleo, so you can use butter, margarine, oleo. Just make sure it's at room temperature so we can cream it. And we're going to cream it together with brown sugar, which I have 1 cup of. I'm using dark brown sugar, but you can use light brown sugar. You can obviously do this with a hand mixer or a stand mixer, but I am just going to be doing it by hand. So once your butter and sugar are nice and smooth and a light brown color, we're going to add in 1 cup of flour, as well as a 1/4 teaspoon of salt and a 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. If it makes you more comfortable, you can add your salt and baking soda to your flour and whisk that together first before you pop it into your big mixing bowl. But whichever way you choose, go ahead and get most of your flour mixed in. I just want to make sure I'm not throwing flour out of my bowl before I add our oatmeal, which we need 2 cups of, and I'm using old-fashioned oats. So this is going to be a pretty crumbly mixture, but just keep working in the flour and the oats until you get the mixture to come together into a ball. So once all of your oatmeal and your flour are mixed in, you don't have any dry stuff laying around, we're going to bring back our 9x13 and we're going to take half of the mixture we just made, and that is going to be the first layer of our bars. So take half of it and just pop it into the bottom of your pan. And I recommend just using your hands. You could use a spatula that you've maybe sprayed with some cooking spray, but your hands are great kitchen tools. So go ahead and spread out that layer evenly, press it out to all the edges, into all the corners. And if you're having a really hard time getting it spread all the way out, it's okay to borrow some more of our dough mixture from the other half that we had set aside to complete our first layer. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I'm a little bit of a perfectionist. I just want each bite of my bar to be the same. But now it's time to make our fudge layer. So I am taking a microwave safe bowl because I'm going to be melting my things in the microwave, and I'm going to take 1 stick of butter, which is equal to a 1/2 cup, and a 12-ounce bag of chocolate chips. I have semi-sweet. A 12-ounce bag is about 2 cups, and 1 cup of sweetened condensed milk. It's not a whole can of sweetened condensed milk, but almost. So I don't know what you're going to do with your leftover sweetened condensed milk. If you have any ideas, go ahead and pop it down in the comments. I am using Eagle brand. I think sweetened condensed milk is one of those baking ingredients that some people are sticklers about. It has to be a certain brand. If you don't want to pay for Eagle brand, or you're at Aldi and they don't have Eagle brand, whatever the situation may be, it will be okay if you don't have Eagle brand. I popped my bowl in the microwave for 1 minute at 50% power, just because I want to melt everything together nice and slow. You can also do this in a medium saucepan on the stove over low heat. We just want to make sure everything melts into a nice smooth mixture. So your butter's gonna melt, your chocolate's going to melt, and don't be worried if it's still lumpy when you're stirring, because as you keep stirring, that will help distribute the heat within your bowl and it'll melt things. So I went for 35 more seconds, again at 50% power, and this worked. This was a good time for me. I think I have like a 1000 watt microwave, but you'll just take it slow, go in maybe 30-second increments for you, and then stir in between, and your fudgy layer will come together. But once you get it nice and smooth, make sure there are no lumps, there's no unmelted butter left over. We're going to pour it over our bottom layer. And the fudge layer is quite thick, so you can spread it out a little bit as you pour it out of your bowl or out of your saucepan if you melted it on the stove, but you're going to just need a spoon or a spatula to spread this fudge layer again evenly out. Get it all the way out to the edges, get it all the way into the corners so that you get a nice fudge layer in each bite, in each bar. Once you have your fudge layer all spread out, bring back the second half or the rest of our dough mixture, and we're going to drop it by spoonfuls on top of our fudge layer. Now, again, I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, so I tried to flatten out all of my spoonfuls because I kind of wanted another even layer on top. If I could just recreate the first layer on top, that's kind of what I was going for. And you don't have to do that. You can make it more rustic where you have a lot of gaps between your top layer. That's okay too. So we're gonna go ahead and pop our bars into a 350-degree oven for 25 minutes. After 25 minutes, I wasn't sure if my bars were cooked through. I'm not worried about the fudge layer cooking, just the top and the bottom. So I popped my bars in for 5 more minutes, and our dough is already a bit of a golden brown. So after my 5 additional minutes, my top dough layer looked kind of dry and kind of golden around the edges. So I decided that that was good. So I let my bars cool a lot, but not completely, and I wanted to give them a try to see if I could cut them. They were still quite a bit warm, so my knife was getting pretty gooey, so I had to wipe it off in between each cut. So instead of continuing to cut them, I decided to let the bars cool completely. Also, looking at the recipe's notes, one commenter said that these bars tasted better the second day, and these bars were much easier to cut once they were cooled completely, which is pretty normal when you're trying to cut baked goods. But I mean, who can wait when there's something so delicious that you just took it out of the oven? It's nice and gooey. Waiting is hard. But these are very rich, so I cut them quite small. Now, sometimes people don't like to take the edge pieces. They like the middle piece because the middle piece is gooier. But trust me, these are going to be gooey no matter which piece you choose. Look at that soft gooiness. No one will be missing out. These bars are gooey, they are chewy, they are chocolatey, they are rich. I definitely recommend having them with a glass of milk. And if you guys liked this recipe, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe to Recipes with Ray if you are interested in more recipes, and I will pop the ingredients and the instructions down below in the show notes if you guys want to make these. And if you know someone else who might like this recipe, go ahead and share it with them. Thanks for watching, and if you guys are interested in another delicious baked good recipe, go ahead and click here on screen.